Hello, thank you for joining me. I did a video recently regarding 12th house. I'm going to do 8th house today because obviously in the skies at the moment, Ketu is sitting in the 8th natural house of the zodiac Scorpio, and it's aspecting 4th and the 12th house, which is Cancer and Pisces. So all the water signs of emotional growth, emotional stability, all of those and awareness, they have just been activated. So it's and I just wanted to just put a little twist to those houses because I know there are particularly 8th and 12th house are very feared houses, but this is how we evolve as people. And as this tricone is called Moksha, so spiritual growth happens through these houses, and we got the planet that actually represents spirituality in the purest form, as well as Jupiter, obviously. They are very, it's activating this this trine trichonas at the moment. And obviously, I'm not going to take away from the fact that 8th and 12th house, as well as 6th house, they are Dushtana houses. And people whose ascendant is connected to these, or the lords of these houses connected to the first house, I know it's a difficult situation, but we can always once we experience some of the difficulties, because this is what we are here to do, the difficulties, and grow as a person, then we can actually tap into the higher octave, higher energy of the planets, because we are aware of every house has got good points, bad points, every planet is the same, every fixed star is the same, every placement is the same. So we know that there is always going to be upside and downside. But there is no reason why 8th house can't be a good house as well, in terms of how we use it. And I'm just going to go through some of the things to do, some words or adjectives that actually describe the 8th house, because obviously it's a very much feared house. So it's a Dushtana house, as we know. It's obviously to do with secrets, and it's a deep house. It's about fears. It's dark. It's house of divorce, longevity, death, scandals, control. I'm going to just read it off. Windfall, lottery, insurance, inheritance, secrecy, enemies, elimination, letting go, changes, sudden things happening, transformations, endings or death, and death of enemies, taxes, gains of government, power, suicide, murder, psychology, psychotherapy, research, getting to the bottom of things, because obviously 8th house we are researching, and when you get to the end of Scorpio, you have Jeshta. Jeshta is ruled by Mercury, planet of information. So you would be just like literally in this house, you just keep researching until you get to the end of it, and you kind of have got quite a lot of information, which you then take from the 8th natural house of the zodiac into the 9th house, Sagittarius, where it's house of knowledge. And as you're traveling in there, you're going through this Gandanta where you're quite overwhelmed by the information that you have found. It's quite shocking sometimes. And then you're traveling into Mula slowly, Gandanta period, where the stuff that you've learned have shocked you, have kind of awakened things within you. And the information that you find then when it goes into Sagittarius, your 9th house of natural zodiac, might be different for everyone. And just generally speaking about the 8th house. And even though the information can be quite scary and give you sleepless nights, you still want to get to the bottom of things, because it's I want to know the truth. I don't want to be taken for granted. What people are saying to me is not really sitting right with me. So you're digging deep in Mula, and then you know your truth from then onwards. This is how the actual houses go from one to the other. It's just pretty amazing. So if you're doing like your, say for example, your dissertation for university, that's what you're doing, 8th house. You're doing all the research, you're typing all the information out, and it's kind of awakened you in some way to then be able to complete your higher education, which will be your 9th house of beliefs, religion, awareness. So anyway, let's get back to this. So this is house of intuition, psychic abilities, astrology, all the occults really, addiction, emotional control. It's a black hole, isn't it, that we fall into and we can be a bit lost because it could be addictions and all that kind of stuff. Control. Is house of sexiness, sexuality, magnetism, sexual attraction. That's what, when you meet somebody, that will be what actually that chemistry thing that's happening is to do with the 8th house. Activates your 8th house. It's chronic disease. 6th house is acute disease. 8th house is probably like it's become quite chronic, difficult to treat. And it's obviously the body part to do with this is the organ of elimination, is anus. 2nd house you eat, 8th house you eliminate. It's your in-laws. It's disgrace, humiliation, scandals, loss of beliefs, because it's 12th house is from the 9th house. It could be loss of father as well when this gets activated in transit. It's all to do with paranormals and spirits, and but it's also your spouse's earnings, your spouse's speech. It's lots of things really, because it could be happiness of your own children. If you do bottom of houses and stuff, you can see like your mother's vehicle through this, all that kind of stuff. So that's what it is. But purely, this is we're researching the truth through this. Ketu obviously is a very spiritual planet, the same as Jupiter. And now Ketu in transit has been sitting in Scorpio for some time, and it will be still there till pretty much start of spring next year. And so it's really making people think about this trine. 4th house, happiness, mum, emotional things, and it's also house of retirement, 4th house too, and house of family. And then we have 8th house is like things about my things that I'm digging deep and researching to gain the knowledge, to know the truth. And then we have the 12th house as well, which is house of, it's again another secret house, and I've just literally did a video about this last week. So I think it's quite nice to actually work with these houses and actually see what the message of Ketu is at the moment. I always find when, for example, now Ketu is in Saturn's nakshatra. So what's happening now in Scorpio, the natural 8th house of the zodiac, extremely karmic. It's bringing some karmas. The whole universe is working through some seriously deep karma. Things are coming to the surface, and some things will have to die, because 8th house is death, and so is 12th house, which has been activated. So therefore, there are things that are. 4th house is also the natural 4th house is ruled by the moon, which is like people and masses and communities and overseas, things like that is 4th house as well. So all of these things happening, so we can see that there is a wave of change, because 8th house is changes. It's literally transformation, and it's difficult, it's a difficult thing. We're all resistant to change. We're all scared of this house, 8th house. But Ketu is there actually reassuring us, going through the changes, really thinking. It's actually critical thinking now. Thinking and what is sitting right with you, and really challenging things. It's not a bad thing. Let go of what you think is okay, And even though you've been listening to things and you know it's not really necessarily the truth, let that go and be open-minded. This is what is actually happening, because this is when we start using our intuition. Actually, don't be force-fed things and actually look at the truth. And that will liberate us. And this is why there's such a lot of awakening around the world now. People in masses, fourth house, actually want to get to the bottom of things, for things to to be dealt with, and do away with the old. This could be anything. This could be like in a global sense, or it could be on a very sort of mundane, our lives. So the relationships that are no longer sitting right with us, or doing the job that no longer serves you. All of those things, obviously depending on what's going on in your dasha, in your chart, and in the transit at the moment, it's all activating things. But on the bigger picture, this is all about those changes that the world needs to go through to pay off the karma and get rid of some of the things that are just need to be excreted, eliminated, let go of, because it's just been too dark, too ugly. And we need to just let it go in order to just liberate ourselves of the old, of the control, of the systematic control that we've been through, and let it go. That's it. So this is just so we are being invited to not be so busy and just literally think about the information, research it, exercise some discernment in there to actually see what's happening, and we will be liberated. I can just see such a wave of people, communities coming together. This is what this is Ketu in, just changes. People, let the changes be. We need to be more of a community. We need to let go over the old because it didn't serve us properly. And it's maybe things that are just like a belief system that's old, it's too conservative, too contrived. Now we need to look at the new ways of doing our community and be much more open, and don't have so many secrets and so many layers of things going on that we don't know, all these dark things that we don't need to know, and just have this beautiful rebirth. It's rebirth time. I really, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think we have some really good things happening. So it's just letting go, guys. Relationships that don't serve you right, work that is controlling, bosses who are just controlling you, not paying you enough money. And for those of you who just be more community minded as well. That's another message from Ketu as well, which I think is pretty beautiful. So I'm gonna, on that note, I'm gonna finish and just let you know that also tomorrow, the 23rd of September, its moon will be transiting into Ashwini, ruled by Ketu. Very amazing things are happening, that you can actually fulfill your heart's desires now. So put down all your intentions on white paper in blue ink. Write everything that you want, but please do me a favor and write also about the healing of the world and that the cleansing that needs to go through. We are happy to do it, and we know that it's going to be for the better. Heal the world and look after our beautiful world and beautiful earth. If you don't mind looking, we need healing. The world needs healing, that's for sure. And write all your heart's desires, blue ink, white paper, and then place it tomorrow when moon is in Ashwini, not before. Have a look at Cosmic Insight and write down the relationship that you want, the job that you want. If you want to have babies, do that. If you want to travel, do that. If you want to start your education or education abroad, work abroad, whatever you want to do, put it down and ask the universe. And there's plenty of abundance. We know that universe can give it to you. You just got to ask the right way, and tomorrow will be the right way. Wish you very, very much success with fulfilling and manifesting your heart's desires, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.